Hello BookTube, it's Louise from the Big Head Bookworm. How are you doing? It's the 5th of April today and I'm here to show you the books that I finished in the second half of March. So there was a part one of the books I read in March because I was flying through them. I slowed up a little bit, but I do have a good 4 books for you here which I really enjoyed, and it was a good end to the month. However, there is one that I did not finish, another book which I'm including which I did not finish and I'm not overly chuffed with, so I shall go through that. How are you? I'm a particularly big head today because me and my son Benedict are going swimming every day at the moment. We're going to the municipal baths. Oh, what joy! And there's quite a whiff of chlorine in this house, and also it is affecting my hair, so I am bigger than normal. But there's little I can do about that, and we're just living with it. So here are the books. The first one, Val McDermid, The Mermaid Singing. Now, I bought this on a whim because it was such a good cover. So atmospheric, and it's the 20th anniversary edition. This is 4 men have been found mutilated and tortured. As fear grips the city, the police turn to clinical psychologist Dr. Tony Hill for a profile of the killer. So it is a serial killer thriller crime setting, and this was, as you see, 20 years old. I was stunned that I hadn't read Val McDermid when I realised, and I actually worked in a bookshop when this came out, and I actually, thinking back on it, I do remember it coming in. I can't believe that I didn't actually pick up a copy and at least have a go with it. So I was really intrigued as to why I didn't read it. I loved it. Oh, it was so good, and I was really impressed at how it hadn't dated. I really thought, well, it's probably going to have dated because it's 20 years old and I'm going to notice the cars, or I'm noticing the technology, but I didn't at all. And I think that shows what a solid piece of writing, solid plot, solid character profiles. If anybody in the UK remembers the crime series The Wire in the Blood, this is the first book. The second book is actually called The Wire in the Blood, and they all feature Dr. Tony Hill. That's a bit shiny, isn't it? Oh, I'm becoming very shiny on one side. But I really, really, really enjoyed this. If you like crime, if you like thrillers, and you haven't read this, you should do. And it is a brilliant cover. Really impressed with Val McDermid's solid plot, solid writing. I mean, it was so enjoyable, so enjoyable. Gory, not too gory. So I really enjoyed this and will be picking up more in the series. So as I say, the second one is The Wire in the Blood, so I shall be looking for that. Then I treated myself to Quidditch Through the Ages. I'd picked this up in London by J.K. Rowling, and I thought, I've got to give it a go. I couldn't have it in the house and not read it, and I'm going to slightly move. Can I do that? Oof. White hair, that's not very good. Oops, I'm dropping a book. So I really enjoyed this. Just wonderful to be back in the magical world. And it's not an entirely serious book, but I really enjoyed it. So that was that. Then I read the book that I dropped. I'm back. And it's Karen Marie Monning's The Highlander's Touch. She does an urban fantasy series called, which is the Fever series. That's the normal covers. So it's Blood Fever, Fae Fever, Dream Fever. I think I've got Dream Fever yet to read. And then this is her Highland romance series called The Highlanders. They all feature Highlanders, and it's a romance, and it's a quick romance. It does have some paranormal in there as well, and they're really quick, lovely romance books. If you're interested in this little mass market paperback, it's a really quick read. It's really, you don't have to think, you can just sit back and enjoy it, and sometimes that's what you need. And then the last book I read in March was Cress. This is the third in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. The first one is, now look at my fantastic pro coffee, is Cinder. The second one, which is a retelling of Cinderella. The second one is Scarlet, which is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood. And Cress, if you look at the cover, you can tell is a retelling of Rapunzel. I can't go too much into the plot of Cress because it would give it away, but Cinder is one extraordinary heroine, 4 futuristic fairy tales, daring to go beyond the realms of Grimm. Yes, futuristic sci-fi fairy tale nonsense. It's really good. It's really enjoyable. Out of the 3 that I've read so far, the 4th one is Winter, which came out at the beginning of the year. No, end of last year. So I can get that at some point, which is retelling of Snow White. I don't think I've got a favourite. I think Scarlet was the one that dragged a little bit and suffered from second book syndrome. Cress was much better. It was more plot driven. I don't think Marissa felt that she needed to really go into the story of Rapunzel and didn't feel too bound by having to feature the fairy tale of Rapunzel, which I think was probably a good thing. But it was really enjoyable. I really liked it. Also, there's some romance in it, but nah, not much. So really good. So actually, I read 10 books in total. In March, I read 9 novels and 1 audio. I had listened to 1 audiobook, and then the second one that I DNF was my second audiobook, and oh, so sad. It's The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith. Now, the reason I really wanted to like this and really wanted to feel passionate about this is that, of course, Robert Galbraith is J.K. Rowling. And I really wanted to like this because I have utter respect for the woman and I love crimes, and I've heard a lot of people really enjoyed this. Now, at the beginning of last year, I think it was the beginning of last year, it was last year at some point, this was in, we had this in book club. And for some reason, I only read like the first 2 chapters. Now, whether or not I actually gave up because I was busy or moved on, or I don't know why I didn't finish it or didn't go through it, because I normally do, no matter what with book club books, but I didn't. And I kept looking at it on my Kindle thinking, why am I not reading this? And I've got the second in the series. This is the Cormac Strike series, which is a crime series set in London, crime mysteries. I don't know how much of a series it is. Anyway, I just found it too dry. I got it on audiobook because I'd seen it recommend on BookTube. And I just found it too dry. I know it's character driven. And I know this is a book that's putting the characters together and putting the... it really quite upset me. Now, the last time I listened to it, I've listened to about 40% of this in audiobook, and it's brilliantly read, and I've got nothing against that. It's just really slow, really slow. I don't have, when I stop listening to it, I don't think, whoa, I've got to get back into the story. I really don't. I don't feel any connection to anybody in it. Either Cormac Strike, the actual detective, or Robin, or anything. The last time I listened to it whilst going on a cycle ride, and maybe that's what I'll carry on doing. I'll do it so that if I go on a cycle ride, I put my headphones on, put it on quietly so I can still hear the traffic, and listen to it, and maybe then I'll get through it, because I do want to, but not good. So sad. I feel like it's me, not you, and I want to say to J.K. Rowling, for when she watches this video, I think it's me, not you. Maybe I'm just not in the right place for you at the moment. Anyway, let's not dwell on this. So that was it. So, as I say, it was a good reading month. And I've started April off well. I'm reading. I'm in the middle of about 3 different books. They're all non-fiction, actually. They're all non-fiction, and I'm really enjoying them all. So I look forward to talking to you about them. I hope you had a lovely Easter. Did you get any Easter eggs? I got 3, which I was very pleased with. So yes, there we go. It's been lovely chatting to you again. I look forward to coming back and chatting to you at some point. Okay, bye-bye.